Turning to politics, Donald Trump says he is in it for the long run. I spoke with Donald yesterday here on the program and asked him for some thoughts on the other candidates, including former Florida Governor Jeb Bush. Here's what he said.
I actually like him. I find him to be a nice person. I really do. I've met him. I don't know him well, but I've seen him and met him a little bit on the trail, as we call it, right? And I find him to be a nice person. In New Hampshire, he was sort of expected to win New Hampshire. And now he's really not doing well in New Hampshire, but he was expected. So, I'm going to hit the guy that I thought I should hit.
Joining us now is Cove Strategies co-founder Mercedes Schlapp, Accountability Project founder Nomiki Konst, and National Review's Katherine Timpf. Katherine, how can the other Republican candidates overcome Donald Trump in your view?
They need to be more interesting just to have anybody covering them in the news, because Donald Trump, he says something, I'm going to scare the Pope, right? Everybody's talking about that. Going to scare the Pope about ISIS. Someone talking about their economic plan isn't going to get in the news over something like that. So maybe don't say stuff like that, but, bring some fire a little bit.
Yeah. So, they're trying to stick to the issues and not be, talking about sort of the fringe subjects. But you say that's why Donald is resonating.
Issues are important, and that's where he's going to have a problem, is he doesn't really know what he's talking about. He's got a policy that doesn't really make sense. But you have to get people's attention if you want them to listen to what you have to say about the issues. They have to be interested first.
What do you think, Miki?
I think she's absolutely right. Jeb Bush just all over the news last week was how he was a snorer. He really doesn't have any personality. He's not engaging. He starts to get into economic policy and what the strategy is for success. And that's not what people want to hear. They want to hear, are you going to make my life better?
Right.
Are you going to tap into the things that I'm freaked out about? Are you going to make America great again? That's what Donald's great at.
Yeah. Mercedes, tell us how you see it.
Well, think about President Obama when he was a candidate. What was his message? Hope and change. Very simple message. It resonated with the American voters. I think it's been very smart for Donald Trump to go through this very simplistic approach in talking about how China is bad, how Mexico is bad, how illegal immigration is destroying our country. It really is resonating with the grassroots activists in the GOP. And guess what? The substantive sort of the approach to issues, the way a professor would talk, it's not working. And the only way for these other candidates to break through is, again, to bring the battle forward and say, look, we're not just only going to talk about issues. This is about, inserting themselves in this race in a strong way.
Yeah, and it's also about the way that they communicate. It makes me think of Martin Luther King and when MLK had his fantastic speech. He didn't say, I have a business plan. I have a dream.
Right.
And so you need to resonate with the way you deliver the story.
They could even sensationalize this. even banding together and saying things like, count down until Donald Trump releases a business plan. Countdown. They could even make it funny. Stand in front of Trump hotels the way that Martin O'Malley did last week and say, we give you 4 days to come up with an immigration plan that actually works.
Yeah.
But he will. He actually will.
Ahead,
That's
Mercedes.
the crazy thing. Donald, the amazing thing about Donald Trump is that everyone kept saying, well, when is your immigration policy coming out? He did it. He fulfilled the promise. Now he's going to come out with his other plans. But at the end, I think people aren't really necessarily looking into the details of these policies. It's all about how you message them. And that's where he obviously has been very effective. And the other thing, Maria, and you know this, he's been taking interview after interview. He does not shy away from the press.
No, he doesn't.
And again,
and I love the fact that he hasn't spent a dime on the campaign because he gets all this media coverage. So this is our millennial panel. Do the millennials have a favorite in this race?
On the right or the left?
Go for both.
Joe Biden, all the way. Oldest candidate, would be the oldest president ever elected, yet he's really pulling well with millennials, as is Bernie Sanders, who would have thought. On the right, I think that Marco Rubio is probably going to be the strongest.
Tristan, what do you think? Katherine?
Well, see, the candidate that I agree with the most is Rand Paul. I really like his message. He's not a very good messenger. He's a very, very boring person to watch. So,
but you like him.
Yeah.
Mercedes, give us your final word.
Well, I'd like to say I think for millennials, Donald Trump is actually resonating.
There you go.
Talking to young people here, I think that's where it works. I mean, he really knows how to reach out to them.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.